How do you think the melting of Himalayan glaciers will impact the lives of people across South Asia? And what role do you think we can play in slowing it down? Welcome to Sacred Echoes of India. In this segment, we are diving into the crisis in the Himalayas, the so-called Third Pole, where glaciers are melting twice as fast as the global average, threatening water for over 1.5 billion people. These glaciers are shrinking at record rates. As they vanish, we are already seeing the consequences: more flash floods and deadly landslides, unpredictable monsoons, water scarcity in some places and overflooding in others. Entire communities are being forced to migrate. Farmlands are drying up. Glacial lakes are swelling and bursting. The climate crisis here is not a slow burn. It's a fast fall. India's northern frontier runs right through this chaos. From Ladakh to Arunachal Pradesh, India's Himalayas form a rugged, volatile border with China and Pakistan. And as the terrain changes, so does India's strategic reality. Melting ice is opening up previously inaccessible routes, allowing faster troop movement, but also exposing new vulnerabilities. The Galvan Valley clash in 2020, where Indian and Chinese soldiers faced off in freezing darkness, was a stark reminder. These mountains are not just sacred, they are sensitive and strategic. In response, India is building faster roads, fortified bunkers, tunnels under mountains, and forward operating bases at dizzying altitudes. But this militarization has a cost. Entire villages are being relocated for strategic reasons. Fragile ecosystems are being pushed to the edge, and the race to secure high ground is running faster than the race to save it. On the other side of the border, China is moving with quiet speed. Massive dam projects are reshaping a major Himalayan river that later becomes the Brahmaputra in India. If China controls the river upstream, it holds immense leverage downstream over India and Bangladesh, both heavily dependent on this water source. This is not just environmental engineering, it's hydro-diplomacy, or as some call it, water warfare. Simultaneously, satellite images show new Chinese infrastructure in disputed areas, sometimes in places where the ice itself is melting, making previous boundaries ambiguous. China's expansion is not just territorial. It's tactical. It's about controlling resources, mobility, and perception. Stuck between Nepal and Bhutan, nations with little room for error, Nepal has seen a rise in deadly glacial lake outburst floods. As rapidly melting glaciers form unstable lakes that can burst without warning, Bhutan, with its strict environmental policies, is still not immune. Facing rising temperatures, changing rain patterns, and landslides, both nations are under pressure to pick sides. China offers investment and infrastructure. India offers tradition and proximity. But the real threat to these countries may not come from borders, but from the sky and the ice above. What we are seeing in the Himalayas is a new kind of Cold War, but without the code. It's a conflict of infrastructure, influence, and ideology. Dams, highways, and outposts are the new weapons. And climate change is no longer just a backdrop. It's a catalyst. Old treaties on water sharing are fragile. Joint efforts on climate action are few. And mistrust runs deeper than any river. While the glaciers crack, diplomacy remains frozen. India now has a choice. It can engage in a power race or take the lead in climate diplomacy and regional cooperation. By investing in glacier monitoring, shared early warning systems, and cross-border disaster response, India can turn its greatest crisis into an opportunity for leadership. Because in this fragile zone, no country can win alone. The Himalayas are no longer silent. They're melting, cracking, shifting, speaking in the language of collapse. What was once frozen and eternal is now fragile and fading. Rivers are swelling, glaciers retreating, and the heartbeat of Asia is growing faint. This is not just a warning, it's a cry for help. Livelihoods downstream are unraveling, sacred landscapes are vanishing, and time, like the ice, is slipping away. The only question now is, are we wise enough to listen? Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more insightful videos. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.